Now, should someone who spends one day a week looking after horses be entitled to a qualification that's equivalent to 4 GCSEs?
Well, the government thinks English schools offering such courses may be getting an unfair advantage in the league tables. Lucy Siegel takes hold of the reins to find out more.
14-year-old Holly is in the middle of doing her GCSEs, and for her, today is just another day at school. This might not look like a classroom, but for one day a week during school time, it's hers. Holly is studying a vocational course in horse care and management alongside more traditional subjects like English and maths. And depending on which course you take, it can be worth up to 4 GCSEs.
But not for much longer. The government has announced plans to cut the academic value of thousands of vocational courses like this one. And because they will lose their GCSE status, they'll no longer be recognised on school league tables in England.
Red's about 16.2, so you should have £32 of total food overall.
So Holly, what are you doing? You're sort of shouting out measurements.
I've taken his height and we've worked out how much food he should have according to his height.
So that's using some core skills, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we're using maths to actually work it out.
It's a lot more fun than being in a classroom.
It is, but it's still hard work and people don't understand how much work it actually is.
So instead of 5 days a week at school, you do 4 because you're up here for one of them.
Yep.
Surely that's putting yourself at a disadvantage.
No, because it makes me have to focus harder and work harder in all my other subjects. It's also made me a quicker thinker and more resourceful being up here because you have to deal with problems quickly if something goes wrong.
At the moment, horse care is one of over 3,000 courses recognised in school GCSE performance tables. But from 2014, that list will be slashed to just 125, and horse care won't be one of them. Courses such as construction and engineering will stay on the list, but will drop from being worth up to 5 GCSEs to just 1. Professor Alison Wolfe from King's College London carried out the review for the government that came up with the drastic pruning of the courses.
The real problem is that schools have been offering subjects in order to do well in the league tables instead of offering subjects that are going to be really good for kids in a pretty bleak employment market.
Right, come in, Lucy. This is our classroom. This is where we deliver the MVQ, and these are the portfolios.
Sheila Myers was a school teacher for 18 years before she began running an equestrian centre in 1990. She takes on students who want to learn about horses.
Sheila, why do you think it's important that this subject is taught?
If the child has got a talent and a knowledge, it should have the opportunity to pursue that in a vocational way. This isn't just out of school, this is a school with a purpose. It's the ability to be able to teach your maths and English in context to an actual job. Some of them can really expand and benefit from the opportunity.
Right, where are we taking this then?
Just
Imogen.
down to the horse.
Sheila thinks one of those benefiting is 16-year-old Imogen. She found it difficult to cope in the school system and she no longer attends formal lessons. Instead, she comes to the equine centre twice a week and hasn't missed a class. She's doing the Level 2 qualification in horse care, which at the moment is equivalent to 4 GCSEs.
So what has it meant to you to be able to come and do this course?
It's meant a lot because it's something I want to do when I was leaving school. I want to be an instructor, so if I get my qualification, I'm going to go on and do another qualification.
So where would you be without it? Imagine if you hadn't come and you hadn't had this, what you see as an opportunity.
I honestly don't know. I'd be just at home all day, every day.
For Imogen, it seems like the right option, but should courses like this ever be worth multiple GCSEs? The government doesn't think so. They won't stop schools offering them where appropriate, but they'll no longer all count towards GCSE league tables.
A lot of these courses are great. They're things that kids are really deeply interested in. They let them do things that they like. But basically, we've been sticking a GCSE label on anything that moves. And the problem is that when you go out into what's a really brutal labour market out there for young people, they have been told that things are worth 3, 4 GCSEs, and then they get out there and they discover that actually employers don't think these things are GCSEs at all. We shouldn't be lying to them and telling them that things that don't have any value with employers are actually worth something.
The Education Secretary, Michael Gove, has welcomed Professor Wolf's review. He said that the current system has become devalued and that young people have taken courses that have led nowhere. Well, that's not something that people here would agree with. Come on.
There we go. It's a long ride from Cumbria, isn't it, Lucy?
But I made it.
You're here, yes.
So tell us exactly what then is going to change.
Well, we've got these 3,000 courses which have a GCSE equivalent at the moment.
Which is a lot, isn't it?
It is a lot, but by 2014 that will have been scaled down to 125, OK? So the problem is that people are worried.
Explain this in a second.
It's not easy to focus.
Well, explain. It's very difficult to focus.
Don't stop.
I won't. So it's some people are worried that the underperforming schools or those who don't do so well in the league tables will lose out because they won't have an excuse really to fund these courses. And amongst those courses that will be excluded, we've got things like fish husbandry, graffiti removal, and nail care technology services, which sort of explains this. Because this is Sophie, who is a nail care technician, fresh from Fashion Week, and this is Susan, who is studying.
Yeah. So what have you gone for there, Paul? Just
Well, I've gone for the prettiest ones that you can find.
Yes.
I've got a bit of him and a bit of him and one in the middle and one there at the end. Yes, it's all sort of, it's very sort of, you can see that sort of thing.
It's lovely. Now, Sophie, these are all handmade, aren't they? I mean,
yes,
or hand-painted, we should say. Good. And you're a perfect example.
Made and painted.
Yes, you're a perfect example of somebody who's made the most of this opportunity. And you're working at London Fashion Week at the moment. You've made nails for Kylie Minogue, is that right?
True.
Wow. But what qualification do you have then, Sophie?
I have MVQ level 1 and 2 in beauty therapy, and I have level 3 in nail extensions.
And if you were to employ somebody from school, would you be looking for an NVQ or would you be looking for the equivalent of 2 GCSEs or 4 GCSEs?
Definitely be looking for MVQ.
Right.
That is the qualification that is recognised by councils.
Yeah.
And anyone who works at my salon needs to be licensed with the council, and that is the only qualification they're interested in. So,
I see. So it has been
important.
the key to Sophie's future, but she's not the only one here with a vocational qualification.
Oh, no.
Is she, Lucy?
No.
What's yours? Aerobics?
Yes, it's actually exercise to music.
Oh,
It's
exercise
called.
to
It's
music,
not just
sorry.
aerobics, that's body conditioning too. But I did that. I did lots of academic courses and I was quite academic, but after I finished at university...
Oh, we've got to still you there, Lucy. Isn't that lovely?
Oh,
so
someone here's in trouble.
I just would have
Was it a windy day?
When you're doing aerobics or...
Do you see how much work I've done on my hair? I think it's bad now. That's
all right.
That was a little bit
I have
before
big
my
hair
aerobics.
problems.
Oh, that was
We've got problem hair. We've got problem hair, so don't mock.
Talk about that.
Yeah. Thank you to Susan and Sophie and Lucy.
And just for the record, Paul, they look lovely.
Yeah, I'm going home with these.
Bang on trend, Paul, bang on trend.
Absolutely.